To discuss this a little bit more, earlier I was joined by Michael Shank, adjunct professor at George Mason University, and I first asked him to talk about the ending police incentives to use equipment in circumstances when the use is unnecessary.
Pentagon, when it gives a tank, Humvee, mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicle, an MRAP, assault weapons, drones, helicopters, grenade launchers, said to U.S. police that they had to use it within a year. That was the incentive. In theory, then they would take it back, but that never happened. But police were incentivized based on a rule within the 1033 program, which existed in the Pentagon, to use it within a year. The legislation changes that. It also prohibits the transfer of those weapons that I mentioned. So any other equipment that's being transferred would be more benign equipment, stuff that police are already using that is appropriate for a police force. It would reduce the incentive for them to use it if they don't need it.
And the bill would also require recipients to certify that they can account for all the equipment. That's very, very important. As I understand it, there have been instances where police officials have taken advantage of the process. I was hoping maybe you could talk about what we've seen happen in the past.
County sheriffs, police chiefs either selling it on eBay, giving it away to friends, everything from assault weapons to Humvees, lost either online or given to friends in the millions of dollars. This isn't just a few assault weapons here and there, in the millions of dollars worth of unaccounted weapons. There was very little oversight on behalf of the Defense Logistics Agency, DLA, which runs the 1033 program. And when they testified to the Senate Homeland Security Committee hearing last week, they essentially said, yeah, we don't know what's happened to these weapons. They do very little needs assessment before to see if a local police chief needs it. So you're seeing small towns like Dundee, Michigan, a town of 3,900, get an MRAP when they clearly don't need it.
So what kind of tracking mechanisms need to be in place at this point? Is there anything specific that's being proposed in this legislation?
The legislation that Congressman Johnson and Congressman Labrador introduced, Stop Militarizing Law Enforcement Act, this week, have enforced, going forward, in-person, in-state inspection. Before, in theory, that existed, but it never happened. There was no in-person inspection. States were outsourcing the job to interns. I've talked before about New York State outsourcing that job to an intern. So there's very little oversight, in-person inspection. This law would mandate that going forward.
Now, another issue that was brought up in a Senate hearing that took place last week that I actually had the chance to attend is the fact that 36% of all the equipment given to the police is actually new or like new. That is incredibly disturbing. So it's not necessarily all used equipment that's being, that was used by the military and is sort of like a hand-me-down. A lot of people are going to find that perplexing. Just how does something like that happen? Are they buying equipment and just turning it over right away?
Senator McCaskill mentioned that 36% new. The rest isn't even really old. You're talking about 6-year-old, 7-year-old MRAPs that are $800,000 worth a piece being transferred. So good equipment that could be used again. Unfortunately, as I've mentioned, it sets up a pretext for defense industry to come in with new contracts to replace the equipment that's been given to police. But new equipment that's not being used, Pentagon's claiming a surplus, giving it away to police forces. But you're seeing bipartisan, in the Senate hearing that you attended, you're seeing bipartisan discontent and almost outrage with Senator Paul and Senator McCaskill and Senator Coburn and others saying we have to have better oversight of this program.
We've also seen reports that through the Pentagon program, Program 1033, at least 120 schools, colleges, and universities have received gear. You are an adjunct at George Mason, a university here. Will this bill address that issue as well?
So schools are coming out saying, stop militarizing our schools. Ohio State University was one of the first, and RT has done so much education around this issue. Really appreciate what RT is doing to educate. But yes, schools are rising up and saying, stop militarizing from K through 12 to university and beyond. We don't want this military equipment on our streets.
But is there anything in the legislation that will, say that this is just not okay? We're going to cut it off, or are they? Is there any reason why it would be rationalized that they would need that kind of equipment?
Most police forces now have SWAT teams. So Radley Balco's talked about the SWATification of America, 150 SWAT raids a day. The 1033 program is about new equipment. It's not going to recall old equipment. So if a school got an MRAP already, it's not likely that they're going to have to give it back. Going forward, however, if George Mason wants an MRAP, they're prohibited by this legislation, if it passes, from getting that MRAP.
That was Michael Shank, adjunct professor at George Mason University.